You guys won't believe the incident that happened while 6ix9ine was testifying against the 9 Treys. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
The guards yelling for everyone to get out.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video.
2 9 Treys found guilty.
But they, for the most part, they know that's not even in my DNA. I don't know how to do that. I couldn't tell on anybody.
As you might know, the plea deal that 6ix9ine signed in order to get himself a lesser sentence had him rat out his immediate crew of the 9 Treys, as well as rat out much of the organization at large. During the month of September in 2019, he took the stand during a special racketeering case, and 2 of the defendants that were part of the case were Jeremiah Mack and Anthony Ellison. These 2 were indeed convicted for racketeering, but that wasn't the end of it. Mack was also convicted of conspiracy to distribute illegal substances, and Ellison, who once worked as a rapper's bodyguard, for capturing him.
Somebody with inside Tekashi 6ix9ine's camp allegedly set him up,
which many once considered to be a fake event, but apparently that wasn't the case. And now, these 2 are going to face the penalty for that. Jeremiah Mack and Anthony Ellison were high-ranking members of the 9 Treys and were responsible for terrible acts and the trafficking of dangerous items throughout New York, U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman said Thursday after the conviction. As of right now, the 2 are going to be locked up and await their sentencing, which at present is set for February 2020. Because of the racketeering charge and certain other crimes that they were convicted of, they face a very serious likelihood of life in prison. This is actually rather ironic because that was the potential amount of time that 6ix9ine was going to face after his arrest in November 2018, but the plea deal he got allowed him to get out of that. Where exactly does this put 6ix9ine in terms of his own case? Well, that's a little complicated, but technically speaking, it doesn't do anything, as it was his duty after signing the plea deal to testify in this case and others, and if he didn't do it, they could pull the plea deal. But because he did help out, and his testimony was key evidence along with recordings and other such things, so that is going a long way to help him get out of jail sooner rather than later. And on a personal level, getting back at one of the guys who kidnapped him, yeah, that must have felt pretty good. Sentencing.
And I spoke to 2 longtime criminal defense attorneys. They all concur. No way the government could promise Daniel Hernandez a sentence.
The question of 6ix9ine and his sentencing has been on the minds of many people ever since this thing began back in February 2019, to the extent that many wonder whether the sentencing will be pushed back, moved up, or potentially canceled altogether. It's very up in the air, so that would mean at the time of this video, barring a delay in proceedings or a move up in the time slot, that 6ix9ine will have to wait another 3 months for his fate to be revealed to him. During that time, it's possible that he'll be asked to take the stand once again in order to testify against more members of the 9 Treys, which again, he'll have to do in accordance with his plea deal agreement. However, the more that time goes on, the more that he's likely to get antsy, because his fate is very much in the air right now. Sure, there are many sites reporting that because of the plea deal he got, that he'll get a very light sentence, and maybe even get time served, and thus be allowed to leave that day, or at the end of that week/month. But that's not a guarantee. He did a lot of crimes, that's what got him arrested in the first place. So just because he could get off early, doesn't mean he will. Plus, even if he is released, he may not be able to get back to his original life. The protection of snitches.
6ix9ine has revealed that he will not enter witness protection.
What happens to 6ix9ine after he potentially gets released from jail is something that a lot of people are talking about, because due to his label of snitch via his plea deal acceptance, he's got a lot of people aiming to take him down either socially or literally. For 6ix9ine, he's obviously worried about the latter more than the former at present, and the FBI is also worried about 6ix9ine, as he is their cash cow in regards to taking down the 9 Treys. So because of that, he's been offered the option of witness protection, which would remove him from New York and put him in a place where he can be safe, potentially, from repercussions, so that the FBI can take down the full group and put an end to the matter, which in the eyes of some is not exactly a better option, as it doesn't matter where he tries to hide, the 9 Treys are going to go looking for him. Whether he is in witness protection, on the street, or in prison, the risks to Tekashi are the same. They view him as a snitch. Lisa Taylor-Ann, a behavioral scientist and expert on street groups like the 9 Treys, said in an interview, "You could argue that she's trying to be grim, but she also makes some very fair points, including the fact that no matter what happens to him, it really is all his fault that he is in this position in the first place. He put himself in a dangerous situation no matter where he is or what he does. At this point, it remains to be seen what's going to happen. It's the same consequences no matter where he is. If he's in prison, if he's on the streets, if he's in witness protection, the consequences are the same." Taylor Austin continues. "He snitched, and that goes against the street code, and it definitely goes against their code, and my expectation is that when there's an opportunity, someone will be looking to pay him back for that." So you might read this and go, well, that means he must try and get into witness protection. If they're coming after him, he won't be safe. Yeah, about that. Self-protection. Recently, as a part of his plea deal, 6ix9ine went into court and testified against his former group, and when he detailed many things about the 9 Treys, new details about his association with the group came up. And then, once it was all over, sources close to 6ix9ine revealed that he was planning on turning down witness protection because he wanted to go back into the streets and get back to his life, as well as getting back to his rap career, which was interrupted because of his arrest last year, an arrest that he was clearly guilty of for the record. Anyway, the way he's intending to get around the fact he's gonna have a lot of 9 Treys coming after him is that he plans on hiring security, a team that'll protect him, his girlfriend, and anyone else he deems worthy to protect, and keep them under a watchful eye. An interesting plan, although this is going to cost him a lot of money that he doesn't exactly have, since the FBI seized much of his assets when they made the arrest on him, which is their right due to certain laws like RICO. Anyway, 6ix9ine claims that he has enough money to afford the security, and he further claims that once he gets back into music, that the money issue will go away fast. Many agree though that this is a very stupid move, not the least of which is because even with the security team, it can't protect you from everything, especially not in a city like New York, where anything and everything can come at you from out of nowhere. There's a reason why cities like New York aren't the easy places to protect people in. They prefer more remote areas so you don't get blindsided so easily. Also, 6ix9ine is putting a lot of faith in a group of people that he doesn't actually know. Also, he can continue a career that he thinks he'll excel at, even though he wasn't exactly excelling at it before he went to prison. In fact, 6ix9ine was considered one of the most controversial rappers in the world for all the wrong reasons, and his net worth wasn't incredibly high compared to many other rappers in the genre. If he wants to refuse witness protection, that is his right, but he's putting himself at an awful risk as a result. Life after snitching.
Case, like blood, I'm trying to be out. I'm trying to be out so I can take care of my kids.
Okay, so let's assume that 6ix9ine is going to not just get out of prison, but he's going to get out of prison very soon. Say January 2020 at the latest, right? The big question that'll have everyone asking is, what is he going to do next? Well, we just talked about that a little in regards to him wanting to get back into rap. It's very evident that he wants to go back to making music, which in some ways is admirable, because he wants to live his dream once again, and this time do it without the fear of the 9 Treys looming over him. Again, admirable, but not exactly as easy as you might think it will be. First and foremost, when it comes to the rap world, they have a street code in regards to loyalty. Mainly, you do not rat on anyone in your crew, former crew, or just plain anyone in the rap world. It doesn't matter if you have beef or not. You do not rat on someone in order to save your own skin. That's a big no-no. And yet, that's exactly what 6ix9ine did. And he did it multiple times over the course of multiple months. And he did it solely for the purpose of saving his own skin. Not because he wanted to do the right thing, or make up for past discretions. Far from it. 6ix9ine is not that benevolent or kind. So during his prison stint, and his revelation of him being a snitch, 6ix9ine has been getting a lot of hate from people in the rap community, as well as beyond. Snoop Dogg called him out for being a dirty rat, and proving that he has no integrity, even noting that Martha freaking Stewart had more integrity than him because she didn't rat anyone out during her arrest and prison stint. She stayed quiet, served her time, and rebuilt what she lost for the most part. Because 6ix9ine ratted people out, that option isn't exactly there for him, because OGs like Snoop and others will be rallying against him, trying to blackmail him in the industry so that he can't get to the levels he desires to be at. And trust me, 6ix9ine desires to be the top rapper around, but these guys will make sure that it doesn't happen for him. The catch in some small part here is that 6ix9ine can totally go back to music, even with their interference, mainly because it doesn't take much to make music. He started out on SoundCloud and worked his way up. Plus, he wasn't with a major record label when he got arrested. He was very much an indie star, a very controversial and mouthy indie star, but an indie star. Nonetheless, so he can attempt to bring back his career by starting off there. Whether he gets higher than that though, may be out of his hands. He angered an entire community by doing what he did, and that will have consequences whether he realizes it or not. Past cases coming back to haunt him.
Big homie.
Another interesting development that happened for 6ix9ine while he was snitching on others was something he likely didn't expect. Because as part of his plea deal agreement, all the cases that were ongoing against him, which were many, were officially closed, as the crimes he had been charged with in this case were much more severe and carried longer sentences, so running them alongside these would be pointless. However, as things started to turn around for 6ix9ine, a lawyer for one of the plaintiffs in one of the many cases against him came out and revealed that new evidence had been provided that sheds new light on one of the cases, allowing them to reopen the case because this evidence wasn't shown in the previous attempt, which is very illegal and very bad for 6ix9ine. Because to be clear, while the plea deal and current case allowed those previous cases to be closed, that does not mean he was exonerated of those crimes. It was simply that he could not be charged with them while he was being tried for this case. If/when he gets off this case, that means he's open to further complaints and actions, which means this attorney can charge him with another crime, and he can be arrested and put right back in jail. Something 6ix9ine likely doesn't want to happen, but that's not under his control right now, which is another thing I bet he doesn't like. Granted, what actually will happen with that case is up in the air, and it's unclear what new evidence evidence has been found, but they are seriously talking about charging 6ix9ine right when he gets out of prison, or sometime thereafter, which means he may not be able to get comfortable in his old life while this is looming overhead. Only time will tell. The Cardi B incident and Backlash.
Speaking of Cardi B, social media went crazy after news broke that 6ix9ine snitched on her.
Arguably the weirdest and possibly dumbest thing to come out of the recent 6ix9ine snitching is that during his September testimony, he was asked whether rapper Cardi B was a member, and he replied yes, even going into detail about how in her videos they were members and that they were there to help boost her own street cred and fame. Cardi B without a doubt is one of the biggest rappers out there right now by a pretty large margin, so for him to accuse her in any way of being a member is a bit blasphemous in the eyes of many. Here's the catch though, many people think he was accusing her of being a 9 Trey, but if you look at the notes from the court, the attorney only asked if she was a blood, not a 9 Trey, and 6ix9ine never definitively said that she was a 9 Trey, just a member, which is an important distinction, one that Cardi B was more than willing to point out on her Twitter handle when she said she was part of a much different group that's from the same group, and not a 9 Trey, although she is from New York, so take that as you will. However, what's important to note here is that between the Cardi B outing and everything else that was going on with this case, the appearance of 6ix9ine grew to be nothing more than a meme. There were even hashtags on Twitter documenting all the snitching 6ix9ine had done, and a plethora of memes having 6ix9ine rat out various people and fictional characters. There was even a meme of him revealing the secret identities of the original Power Rangers, which was funny for the record, and if you knew them in real life and could out them for a lesser sentence, yeah, that would happen. And for 6ix9ine, that is his reality now. He's become a joke, not that he wasn't a joke before because of his various antics and his controversies and his music, which many people thought was terrible. He's a joke because he's willing to blurt out anything, and anyone that he can somewhat prove is connected to various groups if it helps him get off. To be fair, he has admitted that's what he's trying to do, get out of jail. But for him, his image as a hardcore rapper was all that mattered to him for some time. And yet, with the snitching that he's done, that's all gone now. So you have to wonder, how can he return to what he was when it's been proven that he's nothing like that? He can't, and we all know it, but does he? And there you have it, a look at some of the recent events surrounding 6ix9ine and his case. What do you think will unfold as we draw closer to the end of this trial? Do you think that this help will allow him to get out of jail sooner rather than later? Or do you think he'll be forced to spend more time in prison? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on King Trending.
A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad Mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.